Let's do some comparison videos here. Live dig comparison with the Equinox 6-inch coil and the Simplex SP24 5x9 coil. Live digs. Sounds like a nail. I'm gonna scrape a little bit off here. It's a nail. But I dig up targets like that, man. I dig up targets like that, man. Park one. .50 tone here. It's clipping out really bad. It's definitely junk. Definitely nail. Definitely nail, right? Gonna skip that one. Not gonna go for that one. I will extend this out just a little teeny bit. Pretty solid 14 there. Pretty solid 14. I'll just put it right here. The Simplex. Let's go with the Simplex on that target there. Sounds pretty good. Need about 28 here. '60s. '40s, '50s. And I've noticed in cold weather, because it's really cold right now, the Simplex screen is really slow to respond. I'm going to shut it up here. The Simplex screen is really slow to respond, so the numbers just look all scattered. If it's junk, the numbers are really slow to respond with the Simplex in colder weather. I've done some testing with the Simplex in sub-freezing temperatures, and the screen just seems to be really slow to respond to the numbers. But I don't really look at the numbers. I go by tones anyway. That thing sounds killer. I'll scrape it a little bit here, actually. Scrape it. Oh, solid now. Sounds killer. It's deep too. That's a good thing. Deep targets are good targets out here. Solid 40s, man. Solid 40s. Of course, having two coats on is tough to get in and out of the detectors. But I always have my arm cuffs on, man. If you don't use an arm cuff and you don't like the arm cuffs because, you know, they just get in the way and it takes a little bit longer, your arm cuff, this strap right here, gives you so much more control over your detector. You want to be swinging smooth swings over your target and uniform swings, you know? You don't want to swing way out here and then swing way out here and go like this. If there's a lot of stubble on the ground or these little pine cones, if you're going over this pine cone and you're hitting that pine cone there, you're going to get a way false signal on that pine cone. It's not on the pine cone. It's because your metal detector is raising off the ground just a little bit, or it's going at an angle. You want to be swinging level to the ground as close as you can in uniform sweeps, and then just rotate around it. If there's pine cones or a bunch of sticks and shrubs or a bunch of stubble, it makes it much harder. And if you have all those obstacles in your way and you don't have an arm cuff on, you're gonna struggle even more. Having control over your detector and having this cuff on here makes a humongous difference, man. Solid 14, man. In 50 tone, right? I'm in 50 tone. that is a solid target right here. This one sounds really good. I'm very interested in this target right here. Yeah, come on, baby. Be something good, like a V-nickel or something, man. Come on, baby. Oh, is it right there? Some foil. It's a little tag. It's a little aluminum tag. It's foil. It's not aluminum. It's foil. But I just always got to dig those up, man. I always got to dig them up. Okay, let's go with the Equinox a little bit. There's a lot of foil back here, man. Deep foil, too. Fairly close to surface. Fairly close to surface. Hope I can remember exactly where that thing is at, because I just walked away on it. I might not be able to hit it with the Simplex because it's going to be really chattery. It's reading the 50s and 60s, right? Foil. And it says it's really deep. So with the Equinox is much more stable with the foil, man. The Equinox does not get fooled by those little pieces of foil. Like if you're using your Simplex and you come across a place that has a lot of foil, you're going to get a lot of targets that sound deep, or your meter is reading really deep, but it's like in the 60s, and it's a piece of foil on the surface, man. Happens to me all of the time, especially with the Simplex, man. I'll unmute it here and show you. It's reading the 80s, 70s, 50s, and it says it's really deep. But I know that that's not deep because I have a lot of hours on the Simplex. I know that that's not deep because my swing speed and the loudness, the loudness of that target, it doesn't sound deep. If something was that deep, that meter right there is reading all the way. It's saying that it's 8 and 10 inches deep. If that meter says 8 inches deep, it's going to be a faint signal. No matter what it is, it's going to be a faint signal, and it's going to sound big. It's going to sound really big. It's not going to sound small like it does on the Simplex right here. Watch. We're in the 80s, 60s, 30s, 90s. I'll go over it small here. The numbers are just going really slow because it's cold out, you know. Look at that. Chatter. Now I'll go with that same target with the Equinox, and I'll show you, man. The Equinox is so much more stable on those signals of small little bits of foil right on the surface. It's right here. Solid 2 right here. It's right on the surface. So the Simplex gets fooled with that foil. If you've ran the Simplex for a while, you know what I'm talking about, man. That foil sounds freaking awesome. It sounds awesome. That small little bits of foil on the surface. It's gonna be right up here somewhere, most likely. Right there. See? Little teeny piece of foil. So the Simplex, you know, the Simplex doesn't like these small little bits of foil on the surface. And I skip a lot of foil with the Simplex for that reason, because I know it's foil, but I could be skipping up some good stuff underneath that foil. So the Equinox is making me dig this foil out because it sounds good. Gold rings, gold earrings sound just like this right here. And it's a stable tone. I have it in 50 tone right now, and it was reading solid 1 and 2. With the Simplex, it was reading up the 60s, the 50s, the 40s, the 20s, and the meter on it said really deep. But with the Equinox, it knew that it was foil right on the surface, just by the numbers and the depth meter. So you just add all that stuff up together, you know, and if it's not adding up, like on the Simplex, if I get a really deep, if I'm getting a lot of foil in the area, which is there's a lot of foil over here, and I get a target that sounds just like this, and the depth meter says it's like 8 inches deep, but it's not adding up. You know, it sounds like it's right on the surface, but the numbers are high. It's going to be foil, so I skip a lot of these targets up because I just don't want to dig it up. But with the Equinox, it's making me dig this foil up, and I should be digging this foil up. You want to dig this stuff out, man, because this is jewelry sometimes. With the Simplex, you just don't have that option to dig everything, you know, because the foil, this Equinox is really good on foil, man. It knows that it's foil and it knows the depth. With the Simplex, it's tricking you. It's tricking you, right? With my Amphibio, I can set my tone breaks, which the Simplex you cannot set your tone breaks. I can set my tone breaks at like 19 or 20, 18, 19 or 20, just above iron. So it's right around that tone break. So I can set, if I'm getting a lot of small foil on the surface, I can raise that tone break up to where it makes it crackle. So I can skip up some of that foil. But with the Equinox, it makes you dig that foil up, and I want to be digging this foil up. I want to be getting that gold. I want to be getting that small jewelry, really, really small jewelry. And I have this Equinox. I've been getting a lot of small, little, teeny jewelry that I think the Simplex would skip up. Really, I think I would skip it up because it would be so jumpy. But with the Equinox, it's just such a stable signal. Those little teeny pieces of jewelry are very stable and smooth tones. Look at that, solid 17 right there. Solid 17. That one's exciting me, really. I mean, big time. I'm liking it. I'll put my cigarette butt inside my bag. And I'm gonna hit that with the Simplex. I think it's gonna read like in the 50s. In the 50s right here. $25. I can't really read the numbers because it's so cold out right now. It's hard to read the numbers when it's cold out. 50s. The Simplex will still perform in the cold weather. It's just the numbers. The numbers aren't. You can't look at the numbers when it's cold weather out. You cannot look at the numbers on the Simplex because they just jump all over the place. But the tones still stay the same, right? Oh, this one's gonna be awesome, man. Come on, baby. Right there, it's a fence clip. It's a fence clip. I just want to do some comparison digs with the Equinox and the Simplex, just to compare them up a little bit, you know, see which one is more stable on junk targets and which ones are more stable on good targets, you know, good recoveries, you know, like coins and whatnot. I mean, both of them do really good on coins, but the junk, you know, some people say, oh, I want to dig up less junk, but you know what? Really, the junk is where it's at, man. So many times I've been digging up a junk target and epic jewelry pops out, man. Don't skip up the junk, man. Those junky targets are jewelry, because those junky targets are targets that other guys passed up because they don't want to dig the junk either. The reason why I get so much jewelry is because I dig up those crappy signals, man. I get a lot of jewelry, especially with this Equinox. The last couple weeks I've been using the Equinox, I've been getting a lot of jewelry. I get a lot of jewelry with the Simplex too, but the Equinox and the Amphibio are high-end machines, and you can have a lot of adjustments to get past some of the trash and really not get past it, but to know what the trash shape is. With the Simplex, you can't really tell what shape the targets are as much. I do have a lot of hours on the Amphibio and the Simplex. I don't have a lot of hours on the Equinox, but the Equinox is a much more stable signal, so I'm digging up a lot more trash, but I'm getting a lot more jewelry. So if you want to get up, if you want to get more jewelry, dig up more trash, man. Dig up those trashy targets, because those are the targets that the other guys have skipped up. And every day is different. You know, some days a target may read in the 20s, and then the next day or an hour later, it may read up in the 90s. You just never know. That's why I dig out the junk, because I won't have to dig it out tomorrow, right? And it could be jewelry. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.